Hello for everyone, my name is Dana and now I'm going to introduce my research study from Introduction to Research in Applied Linguistics course on topic perceptions of junior year students toward translanguaging as an educational tool in learning English. Here you can see the outline of today's presentation. It consists of research purpose, research questions, significance of the study, main concepts of literature review, methodology, limitations of the study, results and findings, and conclusion. The purpose of the study is to identify and compare attitudes of junior college students about the usage of translanguaging as educational tool in English as foreign language classrooms. Here you can see the research questions. The first of them is what are the first and second year students' attitudes toward pedagogical translanguaging, and the second one is in what ways would they like to use translanguaging in their English language learning. Significance of the study is that there are a lot of studies that were conducted by other researchers that focused on teachers' attitudes toward translanguaging, and here very few studies that focused on students' attitudes. That's why this study will fill this gap and provide some valuable data on students' perceptions. Literature review, it consists of two parts. The first is what translanguaging is, and the second part is attitudes of teachers and students toward translanguaging. Here, it was covered several studies on this topic, similar topic to this research. Here you can see the materials, studies that covered in literature review in your screen. So the next part is methodology, and here to conduct this research, mixed approach was used, qualitative and quantitative methods. To collect the data, tools like questionnaire and interview were used in order to analyze collected data. Descriptive and semantic approaches to analysis were used, respectively, for qualitative and quantitative methods. And finally, in conclusion part, the results were compared with other studies' results that focused on literature review part, especially with teachers' attitudes. Limitations of this study is the main one of them was a small number of participants, because it was difficult to get students to participate in the survey, and planned number of sample wasn't reached. It was needed to have more access to more people. Also, not all participants were able to give interviews. That's why the small number of participants don't allow us to generalize the results of this study. Here you can see the results and findings of the first part, quantitative method. These two charts, the main questions in the qualitative method survey. In the first, we can see that most participants, like more than half of them, showed that they stay in neutral position about translanguaging, and some of them also, like big part of participants, say that they think that translanguaging has a negative impact on improving linguistic skills. But in the second chart, you can see that also a large amount of participants stayed in neutral position, and about half of them said that they agree that translanguaging is helpful for improving their English language skills. Here you can see the qualitative method analysis themes. When interviews were conducted and transcribed, I divide them into several themes to analyze. There are 3 of them. The first one is what exactly is translanguaging used for by students and what do they want to use it for in the classroom. The second theme was positive attitudes of students towards translanguaging, and the third one, negative attitudes of students toward translanguaging, feeling guilty because of monolingual language learning policy, for example. And about the first theme, most of participants say that 90% of them say that they do use translanguaging in their study, and most of them use it to make clear what they're learning, to be clear about words, phrases, and other things. The second, positive attitudes. Most participants said that they don't have any negative feelings about translanguaging, and they do use and like using translanguaging. And finally, except only one participant, others say that they don't have any guilty feelings about monolingual language policy, and that's why they are more neutral than negative towards translanguaging. And finally, all results were compared with other studies that we covered in the literature review. When the similar studies were conducted with teachers, the results showed that teachers prefer not to use this approach to teaching, but the responses revealed by the results of this study showed that students are more neutral and tolerant of approach compared to teachers. So in the future, I hope that good researches on this topic will conducted, because in this study, as we mentioned before, there are several limitations because of small number of participants. That's why we cannot generalize the answers of this study. But in the future, I hope that I can conduct researches on this topic with lower limitations. So that's all for today. Thank you for your attention.